Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids, and in today's video we're going to be talking about epic champions in Hydra. I'm breaking it down into like 5 different kind of key roles to look for, and I'll give you 3 examples of champions in each role, just to give you a bit of an insight into building some teams at epics only. This is inspired by, I will link it in the description, and we'll give you the full details now, an epic quick battle challenge that is happening right now on the RSL Leaderboards Discord. I will link to this channel down below. And there's a bunch of prizes up for grabs. It's open until the 1st of October. Here are the details, which is pretty cool. It's time for the epic rap quick battles. RSL Leaderboards is pleased to announce an exciting competition, an epic-only quick battle Hydra competition. So the runs must be done, and you must submit them from September 10th through to September 30th. Submit a full screenshot. Include the full screen, as quick battle and manual runs are different, look different, to the Hydra submissions channel. All champions used must be epics. No other rarities allowed. Runs must be quick battle only. No full run. You guys know I'm a quick battle boy. I want to just get Hydra done nice and quick. So yeah, accounts and/or drivers can only be on one board. You cannot win both Nightmare and Brutal. In regards to that, there are 3 different categories: Nightmare, Brutal, and Hard. There's gems as rewards for Hard. Brutal has Void Charts, Epic Tomes, and Gems, and same thing for Nightmare. So there we are. And we've got, I think, one final rule. Yeah, gems given to the top 10 on each board. Additionally, each participant who does not win on the board will be entered into a drawing for more gem prizes. Cool. So even just participating, you've got a chance to win. But it's a fun little competition to test things out and, yeah, see how you can do. So again, all that will be linked down below. I think it's a really cool idea, that little community event. Let's cover then some epic champions that you want to consider. We're going to cover, we can see from this, we'll talk about all of these actually. I don't think actually Royal Guard quite made my list, but we'll mention him as a bonus one, I suppose. But what are these champions doing that is cool? So the first thing, which is relevant considering the summon rush at the weekend, how do you deal with the Head of Torment, right? The head that is putting your champions under true fear whenever you attack it. Really annoying, right? How do we deal with that? You can deal with it by using Veil or Perfect Veil. There is obviously that new relic, and I'm curious if anyone will use it, right? This new event relic, you could get it from the Titan event. You've got a chance for Veil. That could help. Or you can use Champions of Perfect Veil. There's 3 epics I would highlight here, but it's pretty slim pickings. So, for example, Rectordrath is going to be the first champion. You all know her, you love her. She's going to bring you a revive. She's going to bring you lots of healing, boost your resistance as well, which is good. If you're running champions with decreased accuracy, that bonus resistance can make a difference. And then, yeah, big heal, but she brings Perfect Veil. So keeping Perfect Veil on your team as much as possible is the way to go. Rectordrath, I think, best built in cooldown reduction set. So reflex, potentially relentless if you don't have it. Building her with high resistance is good too, so that she won't get crowd controlled or get any nasty debuffs. And yeah, sort of making the most of her bonus resistance. But yeah, I like her a lot in reflex set to give her some cooldown reduction to keep maximum uptime on your Perfect Veil. But yeah, she is fantastic. And that's what I mentioned. There's a bunch of Perfect Veil champs that are coming out in this weekend's 15x. And I think it's actually a problem with the game in general. There's just not enough Perfect Veil champions. Rectordrath is like the only good epic option. But like, this is on my account. Hello? You know, I've spent money on this game. This is what and a lot of these are just self-Perfect Veil. In terms of Perfect Veiling my team, Tutora can do it. Okay, we've got Tutora. That's it. That's the only legendary I've got on my entire account that can Perfect Veil the team. We've got Rectordrath. That's it. That's all I've got. There's just not enough Perfect Veil champs in the game. Obviously, you know, there's Duchess and stuff like that, but if you don't have them, Fidey Tealcrest, whatever, but if you don't have them, you don't have them. There's just not that many. Rectordrath is basically your only epic option for it, but there are other ways to deal with it. Option number 2 is not using Perfect Veil, but using Inquisitor Shamael. And there's a couple of big ways you can build him, but the key thing about him is his passive. Whenever an ally receives fear or true fear, instantly removes it and fills the team leader's turn meter by 15%. And fair play to them. This used to read it would increase the turn meter of the person who had the debuff removed. They changed it so that now it's clear that it boosts your team leader's turn meter, which is cool. They actually fixed the tooltip. So fair play, Raid. I don't know if they ever call this out in patch notes, but fair play. But yeah, he just completely protects you from fear. He actually turns the fears into a good thing for your team, giving you loads of turn meter for whoever's in position number 1, which is amazing. So he's super good. He also does very strong single target damage. He also will basically ignore 100% defense if he has 3 buffs. He will be ignoring 100% defense on his A2, which is his big damage source. So he doesn't actually need Savage or Lethal or Merciless, though 4-piece Merciless is really good. I think probably his best build, hard to do, probably be 4-piece Reflex, 4-piece Merciless for maximum cooldown reduction to use this move as often as possible. You can also build him really slow, and you could give him a blood shield accessory because he's going to counterattack a lot. So he'll always have a little shield. And because he's so slow, your other champions outrun their buffs and he won't. Then you build him high resistance. And most of the time, he will have more buffs than everybody because he's not taking turns to outrun them. He'll be counterattacking with blood shield for a small shield that can be 1 extra buff. And you can have him be your Head of Mischief target. Build him with high resistance. So Head of Mischief will most of the time target him, but won't be able to steal his buffs, won't be able to steal his turn meter, and that way he helps you deal with the Head of Mischief and the Head of Torment. It's an interesting build. I think, for this sort of record, this sort of competition, you probably just go all out damage, right? You probably just go all out damage and just kill stuff really fast, but it is interesting how there's a few different ways to build him. You could also build him really slow in like a Guardian set and try to keep your team alive. He's got okay base HP and just forget about damage. You could go slow, high resist, and actually still decent damage. Lots of things you can do at Shamail. He is super fun, so he's a great one. And then the final one I would call out, another approach altogether, is Doom Priest. Doom Priest, every time they take a turn, going to remove a random debuff from your team. So this can be very helpful. You just build her fast, preferably in Relentless, so she can take some extra turns. And the more turns she takes, every time she takes a turn, she's going to remove the debuffs, so she can be removing those True Fears or the Provokes or other stuff from Hydra and making it just a bit more smooth. Obviously, if you've got multiple debuffs, it's going to be random. Maybe she doesn't take a turn before your champion does, whatever, but it can still help a ton. She also brings you increased attack for your team, which is nice, and a little bit of healing as well. So she's a great little option as well. So there are the 3 to deal with Head of Torment. 3 very different options. Now, on to the next section. Revivers. So we mentioned Rector Drath. I love her as probably the best. I even used her until very recently in my teams, which is nuts. Probably the best epic reviver. There are other options. One I definitely draw attention to be Ursula the Mourner. Great epic reviver for Hydra. She's got an amazing team revive, brings you back with high HP, increased defense, and strengthen. So really good at helping your team stay alive. It's got a long cooldown, but it's very good. She also brings increased attack for your team and an AoE decrease attack. So you're going to be relying on some of these damage dealers I'm going to talk about. Quite want increased attack buff, like Shamail loves an increased attack buff. She brings it, and the decreased attack helps you stay alive. Now, she doesn't have any healing in her kit. That's what she's missing. So you don't have any healing here. You're going to need a regen set for her, something like that, to try keep her alive. Probably the best way to build her would be in regen. You could also put her in like 9-piece protection if you've got other sources of healing in the team. But typically for Ursula, the most common build would be 4-piece regen and maybe 2 immortal, maybe 2 perception. Try get some accuracy for this. But yeah, she's a really good option. Other really good epic options. One I really like is Tagore. Great budget option. He brings you an AoE heal, which is better than it sounds, and increased speed. That's really nice. Increased speed is one of the most important buffs for Hydra. He's one of the few epic champions that brings it reliably. So that's really strong. And he has an AoE revive with a shield as well. So yeah, it's not like insane healing, but it's solid. The increased speed is really good. His revive isn't insane. It's 5-turn cooldown as well, and they come back a bit weak, but it's decent enough to work. He's a great option. Yeah, just a really good budget option for increased speed, healing, and revive. And then finally, I was kind of picking the 3rd place reviver. We kind of have 3 already, but the final... Actually, you know what? Yeah, I'll say honorable mention to Godseeker, because we kind of covered 3 revivers already, but I was thinking maybe Godseeker would be next. She does a lot of consistent healing and buff extension, which is very unusual. And then she's got a good revive, and she's got a passive with a bit of a revive as well. So she's quite good for being tanky and survivable and doing lots of healing and making your buffs more consistent. I will say, with epics only, you're going to be weaker on buffs. Like, you're just not going to have as many buffs. So her value, I think, goes down a bit for epics only compared to the others. So we'll honorable mention her, and we'll promote Royal Guard to like be an extra damage dealer. Let's look at the damage dealers next then. Why the heck not? Let's just go straight into Royal Guard, who's for the other bonus option. This guy is super, super good. Great utility, right? Decreased defense A1. Decreased speed A3, though it's at random, but still, it's useful. And then he's got the big enemy max HP nuke on the 4 turn. So this is just the easiest way to do damage as a newer player. I don't know if he's going to do very well in this competition because enemy max HP damage is capped. But yeah, if you're a new player, you're trying to get through hard, brutal, maybe even nightmare for the first time, it's a really easy way to do damage. And he's going to do very well with Merciless. 6-piece would be ideal. So you're doing more damage to ignore defense and you're getting the cooldown reduction. You could also do like 4-piece Savage and 4-piece Merciless. You can put him in some Perception for accuracy to land his debuffs. There's a lot you can do with Royal Guard. Yeah, he does some decent damage himself as well directly, so it is worth building him with some damage as well for these moves. Or you could build him just sort of high crit damage and survivable to try to do this more. Held back definitely by base speed. So he's a cool budget damage option. Now, I think the highest potential damage option most likely for this, I've never done a video on him. I think he gets somewhat held back by epics only as well, but Phoenix, I believe, will probably be the highest damage potential epic champion for Hydra in the game, which might surprise you. And again, I've never done a video on him, but there's been a lot of recent champions that make him better. So this is why he's so strong. Literally just his A1. Extra hit if the target has any debuffs. So easy to activate this. But this just does massive single target damage. It hits really hard. And we have newer champions that you won't be able to use in this competition. But champions like Teox brings in the ally with the highest crit damage, and they do up to 100% more damage for every debuff on the target. If you have this stupidly hard-hitting A1, it has about an 8, I think it's a 4 times multiplier. So it hits twice. It's like an 8 times attack multiplier, which is massive for Phoenix. You're boosting his damage. It's going to hit like a truck. An option, again, recent fusion from this year, Mad Hatter. Highest crit damage ally joins in. They do more damage for every debuff. Again, it's going to hit like a truck. You sort of lose out on those, amazing, super boosting ally attack options for epics only. So he will lose a good bit of the value there. But don't sleep on Phoenix. He is like an insane damage dealer. He has some decent utility on his other moves. I actually think they should buff these to have a higher chance to place. Because his other moves, like, they're okay, but they're unreliable enough. They're not 100% chance to land the debuffs. It's just not really worth using versus just spamming his A1 90%, 99% of the time. But he's got crazy potential. Someone that I think everyone will know would definitely be, is she Knight's Revenant? I think she's Knight's Revenant, isn't it? Yeah, Whisper. Whisper, everyone knows she's a huge damage dealer. Self-buffs. Extra turn if the target is decreased defense and weakened. That's a little bit hard to get to happen with epics only as well. Like, it's much easier if you could throw a Lydia in, for example. Then her A1 can place weaken. So she's a pretty great damage option. She does a lot of damage to bosses. She has a big chance for extra turn. She brings her own buffs, though this can be a downside for her getting targeted by Head of Mischief. And she can really pop off with massive single target damage. She can bring weaken for your team as well, potentially, to then start enabling her extra turns. You have to build it with accuracy to do that. Oh, I didn't mention with Phoenix, his best would be just Merciless for the ignore defense. You could run him in Savage or Lethal, give him Cruel, give him Zeal, anything that's going to boost his A1 damage, just attack damage, simple enough. Whisper, same sort of thing. Merciless would be the best, of course. Extra turns, getting back to her cooldowns, cycling through. And yeah, just going crazy. And, oh, I clicked into the wrong thing. I was trying to open up my notes for what champions I want to talk about. The final damage option, I don't think will feature in this competition, but has to be shouted out for a general guide, Geomancer. I guess also honorable mention to Husk. Husk, very similar to Royal Guard. Let's mention Husk first. Honorable mention to Mr. Husk. I think he's undead. Is he undead? Yeah, he's undead. He looks kind of like a demon, but he's undead. But Husk, enemy max HP, and he's got a Provoke, which is very helpful for Head of Decay to stop him from cleansing. Not super reliable, but it helps. But yeah, he's a really good option for the AoE stun. Very similar to Royal Guard. And yeah, there you go. But we have to mention Geomancer. I think he's more important to mention for new players, right? But the burn and weaken, simple enough. And then he's going to reduce the damage you take, helps you stay alive, reflects the damage back. But the key is not really reflecting damage, but it's a chance to do enemy max HP damage. And that really can add up to a ton of damage against Hydra. And this can actually bypass Head of Mischief's redirection passive as well. So he can, every time, if you want, you can get the HP burn on Head of Mischief. He's going to work well with anyone who can extend debuffs. Doesn't work with debuff spread, won't count, but extending the debuffs, helping to stay up for more is helpful. He can also steal buffs, which is helpful. Not really for quick battle, but if you manual, that would be helpful. If a reflect damage goes up, he can remove the reflect damage. And his A1 is great. AoE attack with decreased accuracy. That's really nice, right? You combo that with Rector Drath. And maybe some area bonuses where you've got some increased resistance. Bonus resist from Rector Drath. You place decreased accuracy. Ooh, suddenly you might be able to start building more resistance on champions and actually resisting some stuff. Not super reliable, but reliable enough that it can make a bit of a difference. So he is really cool. Debuffers next. 3 classics. Nothing too surprising here. My favorite of the bunch is Ugo. No shocker. Decreased defense and block buffs makes life so much easier. The leech is great to stay alive. The heal with some debuff removal is great to stay alive. Simple but amazing kit for an epic. You need extra enemies alive to have a better chance at placing block buffs. Guess what? Works perfectly for Hydra. You might need the sniper mastery as well, actually, but it's totally fine. It's great. So there we go. Simple, effective Ugo. The other another classic option, Stagnite. AoE decreased defense and decreased attack. So you get your AoE decreased defense, but helps you stay alive. And he's got decreased speed as well, which is, again, very helpful. It's a difficult debuff to get into your teams if you're doing epic only, especially. And then he can give you increased accuracy, which is nice if you're running somebody like Royal Guard or Husk or Whisper, who do have some nice A1 debuffs, but it's difficult to get the accuracy on them. This buff can help, and it could make a little bit of a difference. Finally, very, very similar to Stagnite 2.0 is Duck the Pierced. Duck the Pierced, decreased defense and decreased attack. Maybe it's a little less reliable at decreased defense because he has to crit. Not a huge deal, but it is there. He has decreased accuracy A1. Not quite as good on the quick battles, but if you put that on a key enemy, and let's say put it on the head of the I don't know, the poison head and try to stop him poisoning you or something like that. That's pretty cool. And then he's got Provoke, which again is quite nice to help control Head of Decay a little bit extra, which is nice. He also gives himself some buffs. You could maybe build him to Mischief Tank. There's potential with Duck. He's pretty cool. And yeah, they are sort of the 3 debuffers I really wanted to highlight. And then we've got I've got the other section. 3 other champions. This was tough because there was a few champions, that I have to leave out no matter what. But a few champs I want to draw attention to. Number 1 for me has to be Farrakhan the Fat. This guy's insane. Great ally attack. Amazing. And then he's got HP burn and some poisons on his A2 and decreased defense on his A1. Super good. He's really good for Chimera as well. Have to call him out. A big one for anyone progressing on Hydra has to be Mordecai. AoE burn. Brilliant. With increased attack for your team. Some turn meter manipulation as well, which is a small thing, but it's okay. The small little turn meter boost. But listen, that AoE burn is great. The increased attack buff is great. And then, there's so many, we could do honorable mention to Deacon Armstrong. There's probably tons. Let me know in the comments any of your other epics that you would suggest for Hydra, because as I said, there's going to be loads I've left out. Or hey, maybe don't mention it in the comments and actually take part in the competition. See if you can win with your sneaky pick. The final one I want to draw attention to, because I like it a lot. I think she was in the image. Yes, she was. Is Aboro. Really fun option for an epic. And number 1 of the coolest looking epics in the game. But Aboro, loads of self buffs, increased crit rate, crit damage, and perfect veil. And she also gives herself revive on death when she receives perfect veil. So loads of self buffs. This makes her get targeted almost all the time by the Head of Mischief. So if you build her with high resistance, she is probably one of the most reliable ways to build a mischief tank in this game, which is somebody with high enough resist. Check like the stages tool on hellhades.com for whatever difficulty to see. But you need a lot of resist, like 400 to 500, something like that. You need a ton of resistance. You build that on her. She gives herself increased crit rate and crit damage, which can help you if you're a bit lower on stats. And then she can come in and actually, the Head of Mischief keeps targeting her. And again, you don't need to worry. Build her with some damage as well, and she can do some good damage. She can do an AoE attack if the target's under 4 more debuffs. A little bit difficult to get the quantity of buffs and debuffs with epics only is a little tricky, but she can potentially be doing AoE decreased defense attacks with this, which is cool. If you're playing on manual, she can also steal buffs, which is also pretty cool. But yeah, on quick battles, not really going to happen. And yeah, there's lots of others. Like, I don't know. I think another one, for example, we left out, increase speed, decrease speed, would be like Lady Annabelle. I don't know. Like, let me know. Let me know any of your sneaky picks in the comments if you're not keeping them secret. And yeah, take part in the competition if you are interested. Again, big shout out to the RSL leaderboards, Discord, and I think Sam Solstice for organizing this event. Really, really cool. I think it's a great thing for the community. And yeah, it's kind of nice to do, yeah, helping out some earlier players with Hydra as well. Being like, ooh, this is like some ideas for Hydra teams and how we would build them. Any key builds I forgot to mention? Probably, yeah, probably. A lot of cooldown for the supports is generally like cooldown reduction is really strong. Like reflex sets, 4-piece merciless is a huge deal. That's hard to get, but reflex sets are really good. The cursed set is very strong because it's hard to get hex. So having your cursed set, your chance to place hex debuff, is really good on any damage dealer or anyone who's got AoE attacks relatively consistently. The cursed set is very strong. Regen to stay alive is helpful. You could run provoke sets, but I think it's a bit dodgy. But I guess you could just quick battle many times in a row and get lucky. Let me know any tips you got. That's all I've got for this video. Hopefully it was helpful. I'm curious to see what people do for this challenge. And I'll see you all next time. Thanks for watching. And yeah, links will be down below. Goodbye.